No Labels is a third-party organization, and last week the organization announced it was no longer putting forth a unity ticket for the 2024 presidential election. So, to dive into the conversation, can you tell us why you came to that decision?
Sure. Well, look, No Labels has been around for 14 years, and most of that time we actually spent in Congress trying to bring Democrats and Republicans together to work together. It was only 2 years ago that we looked at the presidential election and thought maybe there'd be an opening for a third choice in this election. And so what we focused on was getting on the ballot in states across the country. And we were making great progress on that front. If we had chosen to go all the way, we feel very confident we would have got on the ballot in all the states. But we said we'd never put up a ticket unless we thought it could win. And in the end, we were not able to find a ticket with two candidates that we thought hit that threshold. And so we decided to shut it down, and now we're going to return to a lot of the core work we've been doing in Congress.
Nancy Jacobson, who's No Labels founder and CEO, according to the Wall Street Journal, said that your organization reached out to 30 potential candidates for a possible ticket. What were those conversations like? Did they all say no? What did that look like?
Well, it wasn't 30. It was a lot less than that. I think what people got confused about is we briefed lots of politicians, but not all of them were offered to get on the ticket. But we did talk to a lot of people about potentially being on the ticket. And what we walked them through was what we thought was an unprecedented opening. I mean, the biggest thing that jumped out to us in the polling that we did for 2 years was over and over again, if we asked voters, if it were Trump, Biden, and a moderate independent, would you be open to voting for the independent? Something on the order of 60% over and over again said yes. The reason why to us that was so significant was not that we ever thought an independent would get 60%, but it's that they don't have to get anything close to that to win. So in a multi-candidate race, remember, it's winner take all. So if you get 35, 36% of the vote in the state, you get all the electoral votes that come with it. So you only needed to get a chunk of that open to universe, and we thought there was a path. But there was a lot of reasons why candidates decided it just was not a fit for them. I think chief among them, honestly, was the pressure from the parties. There was a bit of a nuclear response from the respective party establishments to try to shut this down.
Can you dive into that a little bit more? Because when you look at polling, the majority of Americans don't want to see a 2020 rematch. And as we sit here right now, 4 years later, that's exactly what appears to be happening. So why, when you see those numbers, did this not come to fruition?
Well, look, I mean, the parties themselves, I think, have made a very cynical bet, which is they've almost given up on making an affirmative appeal to voters at this point. They just sort of count on, you don't even really need to like our candidate. As long as you hate and fear the other candidate on the other side more, you'll come home to vote for us. And if you look at over the course of the last year or two, both parties in different ways have made it impossible for any competition to emerge within their own parties. So, the Republicans stacked the rules in terms of how they awarded delegates and everything else in ways that helped Trump. The Democrats refused to host any debates or create a path for legitimate primary competition for President Biden. And in fact, right now, the fact that Robert F. Kennedy is in the race as an independent is really a function of the fact that the Democrats really wouldn't let him compete in the primary. So he just decided, all right, if you're not going to let me go in this path, I'm going to try the independent route.